Yeshua Star Goddess, I'm back. Okay, so I have a topic video today, and I asked what you guys wanted to hear me discuss, and I got a lot of things about conspiracy theory, so I'm gonna do that as my topic. So, conspiracy theories, what do I think about them? Well, I'm one of those people that believe that there are a lot of false flags in the media, which means there are a lot of things that are done to get your attention, to distract you from things, or to create a certain frequency from people, whether it's anger, happiness, fear. So I believe that they use the media to create fear in a lot of people so that they can create a frequency of fear in the earth or on the earth, so that certain things can never become. It's sort of like when you're trying to manifest and you keep thinking negative thoughts about what you're trying to manifest, and you're kind of sabotaging yourself, and it's not going to work because you keep thinking negative. I think that's what the media does to keep society and the world as a whole from becoming closer and more in unity and such. They take people from different parts of the world, and then they make you think that they're your enemy when they're really not, and they make you fear them and hate them so that you stay in your own little circle and you don't unify, you don't grow, and you're stuck in this cycle. So that's what I believe about the media as far as conspiracy theory. Now, and if to go deeper, sometimes when they have something really, really huge in the media, I believe that is also to create a certain frequency on the earth to be able to open or close certain portals to certain dimensions. Because as we all know, that there are places on the earth where the dimensions are double, like they're kind of on the vortexes and the ley lines and all that kind of stuff. They're kind of, the veil is kind of thin in those areas. So I believe when they do a huge false flag or a huge like terrible thing on the media, that all of those negative emotions are released into the atmosphere, into the vibration, and they feed certain things in order to open these portals, or they feed certain type of energies that are needed to open these portals. Because there are a lot of magicians and witches and just occultists that are high up, and they actually do magic. They use frequencies, they use human emotions, they feed off that energy. And so that is part of the reason, like every month, every other month, you'll see some big thing on the news, because they need to feed off of that energy in order to do what they need to do. So if you don't want to contribute your life force and your energy to that, don't watch the news. For like, a lot of people will keep the news on 24 hours a day, or watch CNN, or just, jump on to the latest craze about, the false flag. One time it was Ebola, then it was ISIS, then it was, Korea, and then it was, measles, and next week it's going to be something else. So it's kind of like, after that story goes away, what happens to the problem? We don't hear about it again, so we're not worried about it. So, obviously it's not really as a big a deal as they make it. So, and then, okay, so another conspiracy theory. What do you think about UFOs? Okay, UFOs, I believe, are interdimensional beings, and that the reason people see UFOs is because at certain times of the day, certain times of the year, or certain times of the month, whatever, the dimensions are doubled and the veil is thin, and you can see what's going on the other dimension, in the other dimension. So as a parallel dimension, I'm sure that there's more technology there. There could be different types of beings that live on that other dimension of Earth. We don't know, but I don't think it's coming from so far off in space and landing on Earth, coming all this way just to tease you. If you're going to travel all that way to come to Earth just to appear for 2 seconds and then disappear. I mean, that's a lot of traveling for what? Nothing. So I believe that they exist on a different dimension, and that we can see them sometimes, and sometimes they can see us. And that kind of brings me back to a part, if you've read the book of Enoch, where he said that he saw this thing come out of the clouds, and it had like burning embers with faces on it. And I believe that was like a plane with people looking out of the window at night, and you could see the light through the windows. And when he said there was wheels within wheels, I believe that was the engine under the wing. You know how it's a circle and then there's a circle inside. And then he said it was bisected, which means it had 2 wings. It had 2 wings bisected. If you go back and read Enoch, you would see. And then he said that there was a person up front, a god up front. And he was sitting on a throne, which is probably the pilot in the front of the plane. And he was higher up, and you could probably see him, and his lights were brighter in the cockpit. So I'm thinking, like, you know how those planes disappeared in Malaysia and stuff like that? I'm thinking that they went into another dimension, maybe back in time, into the future, wherever they went. And a lot of these sightings or things that were written about long ago in ancient times were actually us from another dimension in another time. And they were seeing the things that we've invented. And they didn't know what those things were yet because we were, you know, they were in the past, we're in the future. But time is not a line, it's a spiral. So if you take a spiral and you go onto a different, you know, plane of the spiral, you're still going to be on the same, you know, you're still going to be close to the same frequency, but you're not going to be in a line. So that's part of the reason why a lot of ancient societies have carved out and shown you different, like, apparatuses that look like helicopters and airplanes, because we're interdimensional and we can see past, present, and future all at the same time, depending on if the dimensions are doubled, certain spots on the earth, and also the frequencies. So that's why. Okay, so another conspiracy theory I gotta think of. What about astral travel? What do you think about astral travel? I think you can travel to other dimensions astrally if you astral travel, and you can meet other beings as well, because we are only bound to this dimension by our physical form, and our spirit and our mind and our soul is not bound to this dimension by when we're not in our bodies. So when we astral travel, that part, you know, our astral self leaves, and we can travel to wherever we choose. And so that's why I believe that there are other dimensions, of course, and I've visited many. And I think once people start doing this on the regular and realizing this for themselves, it will be easier to accept. But, you know, society, the higher ups, the elite or whatever, they don't want you to come to that conclusion as fast as you know, want to. So they put a lot of stuff in your food, and your toothpaste, and your products, on television to keep you at a certain level so that you can't expand your mind, your pineal gland, your third eye, you know, your abilities. They keep you on a certain level so that you can't see these things. And then the people that do see these things, they sound crazy to the other people because, you know, they can't understand what they haven't experienced yet. So it's just like, okay, well, you're just weird and crazy, so I'm going to stay away from you and go watch reality TV because that's what's going on and that's the best thing ever. So, and eventually, they will let someone put a subliminal message in the music or the movies, and if you're smart enough or if you're awake enough to see those clues and figure it out and see that there's more, then good. They're happy that you're smart enough to catch on, and that knowledge is for you if you can grasp it. And if you can't grasp it, it's not for you. You're part of the, you know, the weaker or lower beings, because, you know, in occult studies, they like to keep things secret. And if you can't grasp it, if you're not searching for knowledge, you're not going to see it. So they don't want to give people this knowledge freely if they're not searching for it, because they're going to treat it like garbage. They're not going to appreciate it. They're not going to value it. So why give it to them? It's kind of like, why cast your pearls before swine? So they're not going to give them this information just freely. So I know a lot of people are saying, well, why do they hide it? Why do they hide it? Because it's only for the ones who are seeking it. That is why. And you can be upset about that, but if you're not seeking knowledge, then what value is it to you, you know? Anyway, so those are my thoughts on those type of conspiracy theories. I don't really get into conspiracy theories that much unless it directly affects me or my kids or my family, such as things on media or things that I have experienced. So I really don't think that there's really any other type of conspiracy that's going on besides the cultural conspiracies against certain races and certain people on the planet. Of course, that's been going on forever. So we already know that. We know that they do a lot of experimenting, and we know that a lot of people have been affected mentally from certain experiments. But, you know, you just have to understand that that's the kind of world that we live in. And if you're on a frequency so high, and you know you have your knowledge and you're not taking all these poisons, you're less likely to be affected by any of the brainwashing or things that are going on, because a lot of people think that they're programming certain type of people through the television or through whatever. So if you're up on the frequency and you're not, you know, gullible and you don't believe everything you hear, then it probably is not going to affect you. So you don't have to worry about that if that's where you are right now. And what else was I going to say about conspiracy theory? Oh, a lot of people are like living in fear because of these conspiracies. I think you need to stop, because that was the point of them, to keep you in fear. So if you just forget about them, they don't affect you. They will not affect you. Stay positive. Unless it's right in your face, then it's not really bothering you. You're just seeing it from a distance. And it's like being worried about something that's happening on the other side of the world when you would have never known it was going on. Now you've just wasted some energy. You've just excreted some fear into the atmosphere. And now, what? You don't see that stuff anymore because it's on the other side of the world. And I'm not saying it's not, you don't need to care. I'm just saying it doesn't affect you, so you don't need to worry about it, because you're creating more of it by feeding it. Do you understand? So if you don't like it, don't watch it. Don't pay attention to it. Leave it alone. They put these things in your face on purpose to see what's going to happen. And they're drawing energy from all that negativity and fear that's coming out of people. So turn it off. Don't even worry about it. Worry about what's right in front of you. Worry about your immediate world, because that is what you have to live with, you know. A lot of people will go off the deep end and start, you know, going crazy and writing down conspiracies and saying they're after us, they're going to get us. And they live in like a small town on the, you know, in the country, and no one passes their house but maybe twice a day. And they're worried about everything that's going on the other side of the world. And they're just wasting their time and energy because it doesn't directly affect them. So I believe conspiracy theories are put there on purpose to get a reaction, to get a frequency, to get energy, to steal life force, to make you live in fear, to keep you low, to not let you grow, okay? And once you get on their level, you'll be able to understand what they're doing. Like, you could create your own false flag and make people scurry and steal their energy if you know how to do energy work. So really, it's just a bunch of people, the elite, that have a lot of power, that can create these false flags to steal your energy, to create portals so that their entities or servitors can get out and do their jobs to keep people down, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so if you look at it from that point of view, you'll understand not to feed it, because the more people that feed it, the more often it's going to happen. The less people feed it, the less people, you know, buy into it, there's going to be less and less, because people are able to see through things. They're going on the computer, finding Photoshop pictures of fake bombings and all this kind of stuff. So just let it go. It's not real, you know. unless it's happening to you or anyone you know in your circle, it's not real. It's on the television. It's false flag. Okay, so that's my video on conspiracy theories. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have anything to add to it, put it down in the comments, or if there was a conspiracy that I didn't cover that you want to hear about, let me know, and I'll try doing another video. But I'm going to wrap this one up. But yesterday was my birthday, and I'm also going to I did a video already yesterday on my birthday, and I'll probably put that out. It's going to be like a mini birthday haul. It's no big deal. But if y'all just want to see, then go watch it. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later. Blessings.